So now let's actually be realistic. No, let's talk serious talk. Like, let's talk the real thing. So the thing is, what are the best way and fastest way to actually move to Canada in 2023? I don't know about 2024 or 2025 or 2020. Listen, and I'll try to always make this video almost every year. But as soon as I'm making this video, right, it's still applicable to 2023/2024. So what is the best and fastest way to actually go to Canada? So in real sense, let me just be honest with you. You see fastest, when it comes to Canada immigration, you see that fastest, that word fastest, that adjective is fastest adjective. Yeah, it's adjective, right? That adjective, remove it. Because it does not apply to Canada. Canada and fastest, nothing like that. So like I used to tell my clients, moving to Canada is for dogs. Like, patient dog hits the worst, the fattest bone. There is nothing like Canada. And it's not as if there is really nothing like Canada, like anything fastest in Canada. The thing is, some people can apply for this, they'll get it in 2 days, they will apply for this and this. Somehow, Canada is to behave like village people. Sometimes they don't really have, even if they will say, okay, this is the timeline, some people can have it faster, some people can have it this thing. So if you want to go to Canada, and maybe because your friend got it faster, and because of that you want to apply, my day, you're jonesing. So Canada is not that type of country you can immigrate to because you want to japa urgently. Canada is not urgent japa because they can decide to just shock you. So having talked about that and moved that from the way that you now know that Canada is not for the japa, you understand? So now let's not talk about the best ways to actually move to Canada. So like I used to tell my clients, if you really want to japa, like, life is after you in Nigeria, they are pursuing you, like your heart is doing ping. You know the countries to move to now. UK, number one on the list. I think I'll make another subsequent videos telling you guys about list of countries you can move to sharp, like urgent japa. Let me even type it. So in my next video, my next subsequent videos, I'll be talking about it, fastest japa countries. So these are countries that if you budget, I want to be out of Nigeria or my own country in the next 1 month, and truly you'll be out in the next 1 month. But Canada is not that country you can really budget yourself. So most times I used to tell people, if you plan to move to Canada, regardless of the visa, right, just budget minimum 1 year. Like, just budget, at least, depending on the visa you're actually applying to, it could be minimum 1 year, it could be maximum 1 year. Just have that plan in mind like that. So now let's now talk about the best ways you can actually use in actually migrating to Canada. So in thing is, I'll try and move it, arrange it in order of priority wise. This is according to my own opinion, according to my own research, according to my own everything. So if I actually make, like I said, I'm going to make it list according to priority. So when I give you the list, you can try to make your own research and feel like, no, this one should come first, this one should come second. Me, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I see, this is what I researched about. And for my other client, this is my own experience according to my own experience. So yours can be different. So the first, according to my experience, that you can actually move to Canada with is work visa. I know some of you will be like, why not permanent residency? Don't worry, when we reach there, I'm gonna tell you the first and the most bestest visa you can use in moving to Canada is Canada work visa. With this work visa, just know that everything about your life is already settled. You are not, in as much as work visa is not so much of a permanent visa. Maybe after, for example, if you get like a 3 years work visa, they expect you to come back to your home country if you don't get a job, something like that. But from the immigration point of view, my own immigration point of view, work visa is still that permanent visa, that kind of permanent visa that you can get as long as the job you're doing is like a viable job. For example, you getting a work visa as a nurse, as a this. Are you telling me that if you get a work visa as a nurse in Canada for 3 years, before your 3 years elapse, you're telling me that you won't get another job? How? Do you understand? So that's one thing I used to tell people. Like, even if you're going to apply for work visa or even use this backdoor style for work visa, make sure it's a job that is actually really viable, so that even when your work visa expires, it's easy for you to get another job and get another person to actually sponsor you. I hope you understand that. So work visa is the number one on my list, is the best bet for you to leave your home country, because as you're going with work visa, there's no extra expenses. Depending on the job you're getting, your employer can pay for your flight tickets, pay for your accommodation, pay for your this, pay for your that, pay for your everything, every single thing. So the money you're earning, you're already earning salary. You're not spending extra money. You're not doing any other thing, and like you just have your life sorted out. I hope you understand that. So this is me using this to actually advertise that if you actually want to apply for Canada work visa and then you have problem trying to get a job, a LMI sponsor job, I actually have a company in Canada that actually partner with that can actually assist you in getting this job. So I've made subsequent videos about that. I'll put in the link in my description box. You will see a playlist. I actually title it all playlists. Go through Canada playlist, or you will see another playlist. I actually title it available packages. So I have for Canada C, Canada D, and I think Canada E. So I actually partner with those companies, right? You can actually go through the videos and choose any package of your choice, but the thing is, it's not cheap. It doesn't come cheap, and especially because this company will be the one to help you to get the job, search for the job, and all of that. It's not like the normal procedure of you applying and everything. So it is not cheap, and your family can actually go with you. Just go through the video and watch the terms and listen to the terms and conditions. You shall hear. So that's the first best way to actually move to Canada. Because when you move to this way, your life is sorted. You are not owing anybody money. Aside maybe the person you took money from to assist you with this work visa and everything. Like, that's the bestest way. So the next one on my list, according to priority wise, is permanent residency. So permanent residency, right? You can apply from Nigeria or your home country. But this one has to do with scores, your educational qualification, your experience, your everything, your this, your that. And there's another part of this permanent residency that is kind of dependent on if you have Canadian experience, if you have a Canadian job offer. So you now see why I put that work visa as number one. Because even when you want to apply for permanent residency, you still need point. Like if you have a valid Canadian employment, that's a point. I think like that's one, not just small point though. I think it's like 600 or something. If you have Canadian experience, that's another point. So you even being a PR is kind of dependent on you having Canadian work visa, Canadian work experience, and everything like that. But then this is not to rule out that they are not Nigerians, that they were just based in Nigeria and they apply for PR. That we have a lot of people in Nigeria that they've applied for PR directly from Nigeria. But that one, you have to be at young age, you have to have so many points, so many years of experience. Your job has to be in the skills occupation, all those terms and conditions and everything. And the bottom of everything that now back the wage is the fact that even if you're able to get Canadian permanent residency, maybe from Nigeria or Ghana to Canada, when you get there, it doesn't mean you have a job offer. The only thing you have is permanent residence. And that thing, I don't know if people are not talking about it, is you still need proof of fund for that Canadian for that permanent residency, and money is not cheap. You do proof of fund to actually show that before you're able to get a job in Canada, this money can actually sustain you. In as much as for work visa too, you need proof of fund. But I think for proof of fund for Canada work visa is just 1 month proof of fund. It's just to show the home office that before you collect your first salary, you're able to cater for yourself. That is all. But you see, for Canadian PR, you see for Canadian permanent resident, you see their proof of fund, he choke. You will be like, am I applying for Canadian PR? I'm applying for Canada study visa. So even if God help you, you're able to raise the money, your proof of fund and everything. Let's even say you get Canada permanent residency. When you get to Canada, the next also, let me know if for that Canada permanent residency now, like just budget like 2 years. 2 years minimum. Yes, just 2 years before you check if they invite you, if you reach the score, if there is draw, if there is like just 2 years, no. So let's even now say God now help you, you're successful, you get this permanent residency. The next also for you to cross is when you actually get to Canada is job search. Is job search. So you see that job that I've talked about in number one here, that's when you will now go back. You are a permanent residency, but permanent resident, sorry. So as a permanent resident, you're spending your money for accommodation to survive, to everything, because you are still looking for a job. So in as much as you can, okay, you can still do this thing job, or maybe all this normal job, you are still looking for a job, right? So that's second option. Canada what's it called, this thing. And for your PR too, you have to make sure that, so in as much as if you are a Canadian permanent residency, Canadian permanent resident, there are a lot of things that you can do without PR. You will be able to study cheaper at cheaper fee, have to have lot of access and all of those things. But PR does not mean automatic work visa. You still need to search and hunt for a job like a normal immigrant. So the next one on my list is all this provincial nomination and everything. So this provincial nomination, I'm supposed to use to do number 2, right? Because somehow it's easier for you to get nominated like a provincial nominee than permanent residency in general, because permanent residency is like the whole world is competing for that same spot, that same job and everything. But provincial nominee, most provincial nominee, they used to have some, but why I didn't put it as number 2 is because provincial nominee is kind of restricted somehow to occupation, to skill. For example, a particular province, now they can say, oh, they have provincial nominees for tailors, for this, for that. Another one asks for nurses, for this thing. So it's not that generic compared to the general Canada PR. But this is me telling you, if you have those special skills, say maybe you're a nurse, you're a tailor, you are a hairdresser, you are any of those special skills, right? If you actually apply for provincial nominee, you actually get it easily, faster and better than being in the general pool where the whole world is submitting application to. So provincial nominee is going to be your best bet. And even you having provincial nominee, you have points for having a provincial nomination, right? And PR. Then you have points for PR too for provincial nominee. So 2 of them, they are just like interdependent together. So it's depending on your skill set and what you actually have, right? That the skills you actually have to offer. And that's why I used to tell people, before you move to Canada, check yourself. In as much as you can be working in a job for the past maybe 10 years in Nigeria or in UK or anything, if you check Canada job shortage and you see that this job is not viable, don't be scared of changing. Switch career. People switch career every single time. So you cannot use the landmark of, for example, now in the UK, if, for example, if UK is to do provincial nomination, you know there will be provincial nomination for health caregiver. I hope you know that. Whereas in Canada, there can never be provincial nomination for health caregiver. Can you see that the 2 countries? So in as much as Canada might need caregivers, but it is not, they are not in demand as much as they need it in the UK. So don't just say, okay, because I'm a carer in the UK, and then when I move to Canada, everybody's gonna bow at my toe. They might not say your papa. You get? But another example is in UK, somehow doctors are kind of saturated, kind of to an extent. But then in Canada, there's actually shortage of doctors in Canada. That's why there are some provinces too as well that they have provincial nominations for doctors from some particular type of doctors. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you move to UK, they'll just see you as normal regular, they'll say, hey, I'm not saying your papa, you get. But then moving to Canada is going to be like special. So that's why I used to tell people, even no matter the job you're doing, always try to consider the job market of that particular country, because there is no one straight stone that measure everything, that measure all this thing. But then we have some occupations that they have generic measure for almost every country, like doctors, like nurses, like these artisans, like there are some general occupations like that regardless. But then if you know that you are not all this type of it get as it be, you understand? For example, another example is, for example, if you're a mechanical engineer and then you're thinking of moving to Canada, you see that somehow you're kind of jonesing yourself, because Canada does not produce car. You understand? They know they produce car. Canada does not even produce anything. But in as much as you can actually have more, you can have an edge too in Canada, but you cannot compare the demand of mechanical engineers in Canada compared to a country like USA, that they produce car, they do this and all of that. So that's why I used to tell people, it is not just where everybody is going to Canada. Canada might not be for you. It might not be for you. You understand? But this is not me to rule out that you will not get a mechanical engineering job. But me, I'm just saying, you can get, for example, you can get easily for provincial nomination for nurses compared to maybe any other professions. Or even if you get for any other profession, it might just be a little slot, because they don't need you that much in their system. and they are this thing. And you know that there's a difference between mechanical engineer and automobile engineer. I hope you understand that there are two different things. So you can be a mechanical engineer, you should not be an automobile technician. They are two different things. So they can be doing provincial nomination for automobile technician. That one, you even get a job faster as an automobile technician than you being a mechanical engineer, in quotes. I hope you understand that. So you might just want to be more specific in your occupation compared to I hope you understand. So that's what I'm saying, different occupations. So the third one on my list, after the fourth one on my list is study visa. So study visa is another easier way, best way to actually migrate to Canada. But this one, you have to check your plus, your minus. You have to calculate so many. You have to be so calculative, because the only thing most immigrants know about studying in Canada is study and work in Canada. Study and work in Canada. But there are lots of things that go missing that study and work in Canada. So, like I used to say, there's nothing wrong in you studying and working in Canada. But what is wrong is you studying one anyhow course just because you want to leave Nigeria, just because you want to jackpot, just because you want to. So, like I used to tell my own clients, before you decide to study in Canada, like try at least go. So try to go for an extremely viable course, so that before you even graduate, they don't rush you, so that even your normal 20 hours per week, the job you'll be doing is going to be in your relevant field. I hope you get that. For example, you going to Canada to study Agric is a very, very good one. Even your 20 hours per week is going to be Agric related, because Canada is that country that they're always in their need of agricultural related this thing. You know that almost every year flood used to affect their business, especially British Columbia and floods. They're like 5 and 6. So you see those times that they're able to plant and harvest and everything, to always do it like in bulk, in real bulk. So for example, if you're going to Canada to study, but in real sense, right, if you tell somebody I'm going to Canada to study, and the person say, okay, fine, so what do you want to study in Canada? And I say, I want to go and study agriculture. You know, a normal layman language, a normal Nigerian would be like, how will you go to Canada and study agri? Which type of useless course is that? But as an immigration person, if you tell me you're going to Canada to study agriculture, I'll not say your life, like you don't make them already, even before you enter. I know that you've made like a top best position, right? But then in literal sense, nobody really wants to study agriculture. But in another literal sense, Canada is actually in their need of agriculture. So sometimes, in as much as people that do agriculture, maybe it's a stressful job and all of those things. And see, the thing is, just like I used to tell immigrants, it is not about what really makes sense to you. Everybody wants to work in the office. Everybody wants to stay in the office that has chilling this thing. It's not about what makes sense to you. It is about what makes sense to the country you're going. So it's about what actually makes sense to the country you're going. Because you can have this skill set, you are this, you are that, you are clinical, you are this thing, but they don't need you. For example, now I can see so many people, they are going into IT, they're right into IT. But let me just leave it. This one is topic for another day. This one is what? Topic for another day. So now imagine the magnitude of people going for So imagine the magnitude of people going for IT. But then Canada is saying, I need farmers, I need the agric, I need fishery, I need this thing. But you are shifting to IT. You see that it is not. So that's why I used to tell immigrants, there is nothing wrong with you studying in Canada as long as you can afford it. But please, don't go and spend all your life savings studying a useless course. This one, I've made a video about some useless courses you should not actually study. I'll put in the link in my description box. You see a playlist or playlist, you see courses, right? You see some courses I tell you, please, even if they touch you, do not take it. So there are some courses that they look sweet to the mouth, but at the end, nothing. So, and another thing I will tell people is, don't fall for postgraduate work visa. Like I used to say, in as much as if you study at least 1 year, you're eligible for 2 years postgraduate work permit. If you study for at least 2 years, you're eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. I hope you know that this postgraduate work permit is not renewable, and postgraduate work permit is not a work visa. It's just a permit for you to be able to work legally in the country. So you can actually get the work and still be an hustler. So the cocoa is study a course that you can get a sponsor, somebody that will sponsor you, because the person has to sponsor you for you to change that postgraduate work permit. If not, once the 3 years or 2 years in that postgraduate work permit elapsed, you're coming back to your country. You're coming back to your country, and that visa is once in a lifetime. So in as much as Canada will give you postgraduate work permit, right? But I used to tell my clients that don't depend on that postgraduate work permit. If you have to study a particular course in a particular country and you have to rely on your postgraduate work permit before you actually get a sponsored job, just know that that course you are studying is totally useless. For example, a nurse going to Canada to study, you know that in as much as a nurse is eligible for postgraduate work permit, you know, say the nurse does not even need it, because before I finish my final exam, I've gotten a job already as a nurse. I hope you understand the difference. But then if you're going to Canada to study a course that after you graduate, you still have to apply for postgraduate work permit. After postgraduate, you're still looking for a job. So what exactly did you come to Canada to do? For what exactly? Just to prepare us that I'm in Canada, I'm in this thing. So study visa is one of the best ways to actually migrate to another country. But the thing is, make sure you choose a very, very good and viable course. So in the view of that, I actually partner with a company based in Canada that they actually assist students, regardless of your nationality or location. They can actually assist you to actually apply for Canada study visa. And I've made that video. I'll put in the link in my description box as well. You will see it in my Canada playlist or available packages playlist. So the price is there, the duration, everything that you require, even if it's proof of fund, everything that is stated in the video. So if you know it's something you are interested in, you can send me a mail, you can send me a DM. So the next one on my list, the fifth one of the best way to actually migrate to Canada is tourist visa. Tourist visa is one of the best ways to migrate to Canada. But as I used to tell my own clients, people know me, in as much as I can have this package, if they say they want to move to Canada, and I'll ask them, what are your plans? That's why for people that are going to Canada on tourist visa, I always advise them to book a consultation with me, right? For single is 50,000 naira, for family is 100,000 naira. Then you send me your CV, send me your skill set and everything. There are some people that once I go through their CV and they say, okay, they want to go to Canada and study on tourist visa, I'll say, okay, fine, you are fit to go. Like going through their CV and all of those things and checking the job market, you are fit to go. It go there easy for you. Whereas there are some people that after the consultation, I'm like, please, don't try this, because now as you take go, now so you go take come back. I hope you understand. So this is me saying, tourist visa or not tourist visa, it can be fit for you, it might not be fit for you. So if you want to go to Canada with tourist visa, you can schedule a paid consultation with me. Send me your CV, your updated CV and everything. Then with your CV, considering Canada job market, I will decide if it's for you or not. Because the thing is, in as much as, okay, most people go with tourist visa to Canada in a plan to, okay, get a job, change their visa and everything. But the thing is, if you go to Canada, what's the probability of you actually changing that tourist to work visa? What's the probability of you getting an employer that can actually sponsor and change that visa? So you know that you have to be top notch. I hope you understand that. And aside that, there are some people too that when I go through their CV, I'll actually realize that, oh, they might be fit for Canada tourist visa, but they have to do this, they have to do that just to add to their CV before they actually leave Nigeria. You know, like I used to tell you people that your home country is the best bet to package yourself. Like it's in Nigeria that you can package, and it's, imagine you getting to Canada and maybe you are about to get a job and the only thing that is limiting you is just one document that you should have gotten before leaving Nigeria. I hope you understand. So that's why I tell people is before you migrate to any country, it's always good to actually talk to an expert or a consultant in that field, so that they will tell you everything you need to do. Like any document you want to get, any packaging when you want package them before you go. And because the thing is, once you go to outside the country, it's not easy for you to now collect one document. They'll not say, I thought you said you do not have this. You now start saying, you know that you cook. So you understand what I'm trying to say. So tourist visa is the next one. Tourist visa / visitors visa to actually migrate to Canada. But like I used to say, you have to be really, you see, tourist and studying, you have to be really strategic about it so that you don't get stranded. Because the thing is, if you don't get a job, you'll be spending money for accommodation, money to living expenses before you get a job. So for you to get a job easily is going to be based on the fact that you're somebody that is marketable. Like your experience, your skills is something that is actually marketable and employable easily. So this is me saying you being in Canada does not kind of make it easier for you to get a job you do not deserve. It's not gonna change anything. In as much as most of those employers, they will say, you need left and right work to work in clinical. Yes, fine, you need the right and clinical to work. But the thing is, once they see you during the interview, are you fit for this job? Do you have these qualifications? Do you have this? Do you have that? I don't have it. You will still not get the job. So it is not just about going to Canada on visitor or tourist visa. You need to work on yourself as well to make yourself marketable and scalable. And this is me saying it is not only IT that is in demand. It's not only this thing. There are so many occupations that is in is in demand, is in Canada job market that people are actually not putting mind to. Just like this example I gave for agriculture, there's so many jobs like that, like a whole lot of jobs. I think is in as much as okay, maybe you've had experience in in a particular field, and maybe that field is not that sellable, booking a consultation with an expert like me or any other consultant that you want, they can actually help you to actually streamline your experience. For example, let's say admin assistant is actually in high demand in Canada, and then you've been working in Nigeria as a banker. In that way, the only thing you need to get is get this, get that. Then they'll now redraft your CV to admin assistant role. In as much as you were not an admin assistant in Nigeria, but they were like, it's the same branch of this, they'll just streamline it. I hope you understand. So that way, you just streamline your options, and I hope you understand. And then another example again is, for example, if you're a nurse in Nigeria and maybe you're not ready to write your NCLEX and everything, so instead of you can't actually work as a nurse in Canada, so you can go for any other job that is relative. So in as much as you were working as a nurse in Nigeria, but you cannot work as a nurse in Canada without your license exam, what do? You actually change career path and then streamline and get the qualifications of those ones. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's why this is me telling you there is nothing absolutely wrong with tourist visa or this thing, but kind of what is wrong is if you do not actually work on yourself, put in that work and all of that, so that you not get to Canada and become stranded. I came on tourist visa, there is no job. Going to Canada does not mean that you will see the only job you'll be able to see is all these menial jobs. And you know that it is not legal for you to work on tourist visa or visitors visa. Come back by you're gonna see something. So the best bet for you is to plan yourself. So guys, that is all on my list that I feel like those are the best way to actually migrate to Canada. Though there are other ways of actually migrating to Canada and everything, but this is me talking from a Nigerian point of view, from an immigrant point of view, because the thing is, Canada has a lot of immigration pathway, but the thing is, which of them are you eligible for? Which one is easier for you? Which one is achievable? Which one is plannable? Which one is, which one looks realistic? So these are the realistic ones that I know is realistically achievable, like when you say you will do it and everything. So and that I've mentioned 5 types of moving to Canada. I've mentioned their advantage, I've mentioned their disadvantages. So take your time, go through the video, weigh your pros, weigh your cons, check your budget, check your budget, and every other thing like that. And then any other thing like that. And if you're still confused, you can actually schedule a paid consultation with me. Send me your updated CV, tell me about your family size, tell me about your budget and all of those things. I can actually assist you in choosing the best pathway for you, because the thing is, Canada, this one might be for you. For example, maybe as a tailor now, So because the thing is, this pathway that is best for you might not be best for another person, might not be best for this one, might not be best for, it can just be variable like that. So you can take your time to analyze yourself, your skill set, and choose. But if it's something you cannot do, you can actually send me a mail, send me a DM, and book a paid consultation with me, and send me all your documents. Then I actually go through it and tell you the best pathway according to your CV. So guys, that'll bring us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.